Kinsey here. I am the face behind Tailored Magic. So basically, I help moms that are wanting to afford to be able to take their family to Disney, or they're planning Disney as a magical vacation. So I just have a passion for, if you're a mom hoping to get your family to Disney and have that magical vacation and memories someday, that you can do that. And I love to help moms be able to realize some hacks, realize some tips, tricks around that. And then not only that, but once you're actually planning the trip, I love to give planning assistance. I am actually a travel agent. So I love giving guides, suggestions, like having a hand in the process to really help you out, because I know you are busy. I am a toddler mom of two as well. So I know it's a lot when you are wanting to plan a magical vacation, but you feel like you don't have the time to plan a magical vacation. So I am really here to help moms be able to find ways to afford and plan magical vacations to Walt Disney World with their families. And we're going to get started just diving into some background of how I got here. The year was 2020. Really, I should back up to 2019. Got engaged in April of 2019. And then as we started planning the wedding, we were, of course, looking forward to the honeymoon, different things like that. Basically, Florida in general came to mind for the honeymoon. We didn't have a huge interest of going anywhere huge. I wanted to go somewhere beachy and warm. I mean, we were getting married in June, but still like tropical, beachy vibes. That's just what I wanted to do. Disney World came to mind, and I had actually never been. I never went as a kid. Same with my husband. He went to Universal, I believe, as a kid at one point, but not Walt Disney World. So we started planning. We were going to do kind of like a half and half at a Margaritaville resort in Hollywood, Florida, and then a few days at Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And one of our biggest focuses for Walt Disney World, we didn't know a whole lot about it. We just both haven't gone. I was always like into Disney things growing up, so I really wanted to see it, but he really wanted to see Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So that was like the main thing that we knew we wanted to do. And I remember we went to dinner one night. We literally sat at the bar of an Applebee's, and I brought my little notebook, and we were just kind of like sketching what we wanted this trip to look like. And I didn't really know much. I think we looked into the dining plan even when we were planning. I haven't I haven't done the dining plan to this day, but I think we were going to plan to do that. We were just looking for like the cheapest resorts. Like literally had no concept. Like I remember looking, went to the Disney site, and I like sorted low to high, and I like took my pick, baby. I went for, I think, also All Star Sports. Wow, is what we wound up booking. I wound up booking because it was the cheapest, and that's what I was going to go with. And then fast forward a little bit, like 2020, March 2020. Like I said, we were getting married in June 2020. March 2020 was when everything just completely shut down for, what do they say? The panini. With that being said, obviously we're like, okay, things are going to change, things are going to look different. And I don't honestly remember how long was Disney shut down for. I don't remember. But we still had our wedding June 19th, 2020. But I believe Disney was not open anymore, like at that time. So we had to push our initial vacation back. And it might have had to do with the Margaritaville Resort as well. I can't really remember that part, but we pushed it back to November of 2020. And that, when we went then, was our first trip to Walt Disney World. I did get on 60 days in advance, and I tried to book Oga's Cantina. And around that time, it was newer and not as many reservations were open because it was 2020. And I remember we did not get Oga's Cantina, and me not knowing like anything about, guys. This is where you start to see like why I really wanted to become a travel agent and why I'm so passionate about helping people, especially now that I've grown in my life, specifically mamas that are wanting to plan Disney, do it without the stress, because I just went about this like completely clueless, completely wrong. Luckily, it was only a 2-day trip, and so it didn't feel like as heavy of a miss. but it was definitely a miss. Um, and I still fell in love with it at the same time. So I don't know how that happened, but anyways, beside the point. So I remember I tried to get Oga's Cantina, didn't get it, and then silly me, didn't know anything. I don't even know if I ever went and tried to get it again within like the 60 days to our arrival day. So we started at Margaritaville Hollywood. We flew into Fort Lauderdale, I believe, and rented a car. After our last night at Margaritaville, we woke up early. We drove to Orlando, and we ended up staying at Pop Century because they closed All Star Sports for like during the Panini. They moved us to Pop. Thank goodness. So we stayed at Pop Century. We drove there. We got there. We checked in. I was like instantly like a kid. Christmas tree was up, and I can even remember like the smell of going into the Pop Century lobby. I think it was pretty much game over from that moment for me. And yeah, I don't know. If you're watching this and you're like, oh, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about how great deluxe resorts are, but those are like such a high price range, you guys. I get it. Like, I have stayed in a couple deluxe resorts by now, and like the amenities are great. They're gorgeous. They're stunning. Location, chef's kiss, but Pop Century, it has a special place in my heart because it's the first place we stayed. It's kind of in that medium of the value resorts, so it's not the lowest of that, like as far as like the lowest on the price range, but it has the Skyliner access to two parks, and we love the Skyliner. Again, it might be biased because that we experienced that the first time around. And since it was in 2020, we always got a gondola to ourselves. I mean, the theming, the price range, the Skyliner, just everything about it, absolutely love it. And back to, I'm getting way off track. We got to drop our stuff off, and then we took the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios. That was what we did the first day because I wanted to do like the full day at Magic Kingdom, especially never having that Magic Kingdom experience. Studios was our first day for the Star Wars, like I mentioned. And where I kind of got sidetracked earlier in what I was saying is a week or two before, I literally was just like posting on my Instagram story. And at that time, it was just like my personal Instagram, like whatever. Like, and I think I said, like, anyone who's been to Walt Disney World, like, give us all the suggestions. And I got like 3 suggestions, no tips. And I mean, I did like no planning at all. Hollywood Studios, it was like a lot. I remember we got there and we were like nervous to do anything else besides Star Wars because we thought we were going to miss Star Wars. And I guess we did book something because we actually ate at 50's Primetime Diner. Nervous to be late for that. Like, I don't know. We just had no concept of timing or like what the grace period, the grace windows were. Instantly went through like Toy Story Land to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. We walked through it. Side note, that was like me falling in love with Star Wars, who pretty much knew nothing about Star Wars at the time. I remember we saw Rise of the Resistance. Again, we did no research, and it was newer at this time. It had the virtual queue only, where there was a virtual queue in the morning and a virtual queue at 1 p.m., I believe it was. And so we wanted to ride it, obviously. So we like started Googling about it. We're like walking around the park, not even paying attention, Googling like about Rise of the Resistance. And then we saw the queue around 1 o'clock. We literally found a bench, squatted there for a few minutes, and we were both on our phone trying to get it. We did end up getting the queue, but it's just so funny. We didn't know anything about the ride. We didn't know anything about the virtual queue. We were wasting time in the park Googling what it even was and how we get to get on it. Wasting a lot of our time. We did get to ride it. Anyways, I feel like we did that day. We did Rise of the Resistance. We did eat at 50's Primetime Diner. But we did Rise of the Resistance, Star Tours ride, and we did Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon. And because of COVID, we did get like a cab, whatever you want to call it, in the Falcon to ourselves. So we were both like up in the pilot position. Haven't done that since. So that was great. In reality, we did Alien Swirling Saucers and Toy Story Land. And that was it, y'all. Like, besides walking around, that was literally all we did. And I know we didn't get there in the morning, but when I tell you we just wasted so much time doing, I don't even know what. There wasn't any like night shows going on because it was 2020. And then the next day we had a whole day at Magic Kingdom. And like I mentioned, when I asked for suggestions, someone had suggested Be Our Guest. So we did get a reservation for Be Our Guest, and it was to go back and give it a second chance, but we did not like the food very much. It wasn't really food that we like to eat. Again, I did no research, you guys. Like, I'm like appalled at myself talking about this, but I didn't like look at the menu. I didn't. All I knew was that we were going to Beast Castle, and somebody suggested it to me. It wasn't really food we liked, and whatever we ended up picking, it was like pricey for food that we didn't even really want to eat. I will say, if you are a Beauty and the Beast fan and or somebody in your travel party is, look up the menu, go in there and get something small. I don't know, but it is an amazing experience to be like in Beast's castle. Very realistic and really cool, but not the best. I do need to give it a second chance. We did Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, we did Haunted Mansion. We waited 75 minutes for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And I like that ride, don't get me wrong, but I remember then being pretty disappointed in Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because we waited like almost an hour and a half, and it felt longer than that because 2020 the lines were more spaced out, so we were like wrapped all the way around back over by the Little Mermaid ride, if you know anything about Walt Disney World, for like a 75-80 minute wait, and then the ride is over like that, and we were just kind of disappointed. We did some shopping, whatever, but there wasn't any night shows. Happily Ever After was not going on. We left the next morning because, like I said, it was just a 2 park trip for us. Fell in love with Walt Disney World on that trip. And then I like started just looking into these things of Walt Disney World because I was like, oh my gosh, there's 2 parks we didn't even go to. And it was 2020, so there were so many things we didn't even get to do. I cannot even imagine like what they have to offer. And I started looking up all this stuff, and that was when I just started like being like, what the heck was I doing? Like, I just realized how much time we wasted, how much we missed out on. Almost instantly, it was like, I never want anyone to feel like that with their trip. Like, look back on it and be like, wow, we don't know when we're going to be able to go back, if we're going to be able to go back, and we messed up. So that's kind of a fun overview story of my first trip, but also background on how I got here, and how I really just grew a passion for helping others figure out how to afford and plan Disney in the most magical way possible so that you have those memories to keep with you forever, because things are going to go wrong. It's life, especially if you're taking your family. Like, toddlers are still going to throw tantrums every once in a while. Your plans are going to get thrown for a loop occasionally. I will go over some of my toddler trips and you'll see that happens to us plenty. It's going to happen, guys. It's life. But if you plan for it correctly and you go in with that mindset, like, you're still going to make these amazing magical memories that you will have to last a lifetime. And that is what Tailored Magic is. I'm here to help tailor the magic to you, to your families, and get the most magic that you deserve. So thank you for being here. I can't wait to go on this journey with you. Like below and subscribe if you are ready for all the tips, tricks coming along with me, and just seeing as I continue to learn Disney and share everything that I can with you.